The number one issue for voters headed into the midterms is the economy, inflation. So it's no wonder the White House keeps telling the American people that we're not in a recession. Fed Chair Jerome Powell keeps pointing to the labor market as a source of strength pertaining to the economy. Listen.
2.7 million people hired in the first half of the year. It doesn't make sense that the economy would be in recession with this kind of thing happening.
Joining me now is Harley Lippman, CEO of one of the largest staffing companies in the U.S., Genesis 10. Hi, Harley. Thanks for being here. So what do the latest GDP and inflation numbers really mean for job seekers and the economy?
Well, typically when you have two quarters that are declining like that, it is a recession. So here's what happens when you have an economy that's weakening. And it's open to debate whether it's a recession or not. Certainly things are not good. But for job seekers, one, it's going to make them more reticent about quitting and going to another job. As we all know, there's been a lot of resignations, as a lot of people have changed jobs since COVID and during COVID. Now, with the economy being soft, I think a lot of people are going to be a little more concerned about job security. That's one thing.
It looks like they're getting pickier, too, because I see now hiring signs almost everywhere I go every day.
It's true. Employers are eager to hire, but candidates are choosier than ever, especially millennials. They want to have the right work-family balance, and that is dominating the business environment today. If you want to get good people, that is a major theme that you're going to have to deal with.
Well, the labor participation rate shows more than 3 million fewer people are working now than pre-lockdowns. So why don't we hear much about that when weighing the health of the economy?
Yeah, it should be reported, those numbers. There's a lot of people that are just have given up, or they are just waiting for the right opportunity. And so with those people, then those numbers don't come out. But you're right, it's part of context, and it really does matter. What the Biden administration would probably say is, hey, we're creating 400,000 jobs a month. That doesn't sound like a recession. But despite that, everything is seen as not going well by people in both parties. Both parties feel that the economy is disappointing and going down, especially with inflation. Being at 9%, it's higher than wages could keep up. And that's going to push pressure on wages to go up, because employees are going to go into their employers and say, hey, with the price of gas going up, food going up, I can't keep up with my salary. I need an increase. And that puts pressure on wages to go up.
We all hear constantly from the administration, a record number of jobs created. It's amazing. Unemployment is so low, 3.6%. So if the mainstream repeats something enough, do you think that people will just forget about the lockdowns, the great resignation when millions resigned from their jobs?
It's impossible to forget, because every day you're confronted with reality. You go to the gas station, look at gas prices. Food prices are at record highs. We haven't seen anything like this. It's extraordinary how high food prices have gone up as a percentage more than everything else.
Right. So aren't these jobs just naturally coming back from the great resignation and the lockdowns?
Yes, many of them are coming back. Again, candidates want to pick the right opportunity for themselves. And there are opportunities, but it's going to get tighter. There hasn't been mass layoffs, which is one way that people recognize a recession. And there are many factors that go into it, but we haven't seen it. But a lot of companies are cutting back on hiring, especially big companies. So while you're right, you see signs everywhere for help wanted, for a lot of corporations, that's somewhat of the canary in the coal mine, bellwether of the future.
Well, so I guess
they have cut back on hiring.
So I guess the question is, can the president really take credit for this record job growth when these jobs are just coming back from the lockdowns and the resignation?
Well, the wind's to his back, I'll say that. I don't know if he's done anything in particular to take credit for job growth. I think because his job growth, because American businesses are being efficient and being profitable, despite government, not because of government.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's taking place.
So the president also claims that the latest proposed reconciliation package will bring down rampant inflation. I'll get to that in a moment, but first let's listen to what he had to say yesterday.
Inflation hawks like former Secretary of Treasury Larry Summers said, quote, "This bill is fighting inflation." Let me say, this bill is fighting inflation. Progressive leaders like Senator Elizabeth Warren said, quote, this is a bill that truly is about fighting inflation, bringing down the cost for families, and putting our country on a sounder economic footing.
Okay, Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. It includes tax hikes on corporations and the most wealthy Americans that would raise more than, $730 billion over the next decade. So if signed into law, this would be one of the biggest tax hikes in a while. Will this really reduce inflation?
Well, we'll know when we know, as my grandmother would say, So we have to track this and see. It's very questionable if this is going to work, but the good news is we can measure it. And if it doesn't work, that's going to be a huge blow for the Biden administration. If it does work, then that'll be to their credit. But I think time will tell. I'm skeptical, but we'll certainly see in a short period of time.
Yeah, there's more to this bill as well, including climate change, reducing the national debt, lowering prescription prices. So, the full Senate will consider this bill next week. We'll see what happens. Harley, Lippman, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.